I started looking for a taxi. The first driver looked at me and told me the price is 200, but I told him, no, the price is 80. He just started shouting and left. I felt it was the right thing to say goodbye to my students. I told them I have to move out. They asked me where I'm going. Soon after, they start shouting at me, Taiwan is China, Taiwan is China. 2 weeks later, I landed in Taoyuan. The friend who invited me and the only person I knew in Taiwan didn't show up at the airport. It was raining cats and dogs. Even though it was morning, it was pretty dark. Hello everyone, Ameda is here today, and I usually interview my guests and ask them why did they come here and what makes them stay in Taiwan. But to be honest, I have never answered these questions by myself, did I? So today I prepared a special video for you so I can finally introduce myself. Let's get started. Since I was a teenager, I could see things made in Taiwan, mostly after disassembling computers or other electronic gadgets. Also, I used to spend a lot of time riding mountain bikes with components obviously made in Taiwan. When I was at a university, my friend asked me if I wanted to go traveling to Taiwan. It was 2011. Taiwanese Ministry of Tourism at that time wanted foreigners to plan a trip to Taiwan. I learned a lot about hot springs, tea plantations, temples and high mountains, but sadly we didn't win. When I was in high school, I always wanted to explore the world. The things are so different if you experience them first-handed rather than hearing from someone or, just seeing pictures or videos. As soon as I got enrolled at a university, I could apply for a scholarship and study abroad, so I did. I went to the furthest possible place, to Portugal. I felt like the world has so much more to offer, and if I stay in one place forever, I might end up being unhappy for the rest of my life and regret that. At that time, I was back in Poland writing my thesis and thinking about any place that has good weather, beaches, and also I wanted to chase my dream to be a photographer. And I started to be more and more interested in Asia, precisely Macau. Spoiler alert, I was so wrong about that. In the beginning of 2022, I decided to move to London for half a year so I could work, save money and buy plane tickets. I didn't know anyone there. I found one person who offered me a sofa to sleep on for 2 nights. All I had was savings to survive a month. Hence, I started looking for a job as soon as I got out from the plane. I printed my CVs and visited all the restaurants and pubs I could see. And after 3 days, I found a job. I was looking for all the savings and counting every penny. London is well known for rainy weather, but I bought a second-hand bike because it was cheaper than paying for public transportation. I would mostly eat frozen food from the supermarket and work extra hours whenever possible. Since the rent was expensive, I was living on a balcony and couldn't sleep straight because the room was too small for me. So I had to position myself diagonal when sleeping. But I didn't mind. I had my dream. I bought tickets. In June, I got my diploma and I also received an email from an Italian university that they offered me a scholarship to do my master's there. I turned them in and got on my plane to Hong Kong, and to be honest, I never looked back. At that time, my dad had a nice camera. I took it with me. I only told him after. It was crazy. All the new smells, crowds of people, flavors, Cantonese language, skyscrapers, small alleys that looked like an action movie that my grandpa used to watch all the time, and I was there. I was so happy. After a few weeks, I got my first photography gig. I had a job interview online, got accepted, and a company invited me to work in Shenzhen. My Mandarin was non-existent at the time. I had to move to the mainland. I took a ferry from Macau to Shenzhen. I had an address written on a paper, and I knew the fare is 80 yuan. So I started looking for a taxi. The first driver looked at me and told me the price is 200, but I told him, no, the price is 80. He just started shouting and left. Then I walked to another driver. He said 150. I told him, no, it's 80. He shut the door and drove away. But I was patient. I handed the address to another guy and I told him, can you take me there for 80 yuan? The driver said okay. Fortunately enough, I arrived in the office and I officially started living in China. And my work and life was pretty easy. I could save like 90% of my salary. But I wasn't really happy. I wasn't doing photography for a living, and I didn't see any chances to follow my dream. Second, China wasn't really a fit for me. Even though I made lots of friends there, a few things could irritate me from time to time, like the never-ending hustling about prices. Foreigners pay more for taxis, restaurants. Doesn't matter how long you live there, a part of living in China is getting used to being ripped off almost on a daily basis. Seeing dog meat at the markets was difficult for me, and probably what bothered me the most, wealth disparities, lack of free thinking, and freedom of speech. I also felt bad because the generation of my parents fought communism in Europe, and I am living in a communist country now. I talked to my friend who actually had lived in China but moved to Taiwan. Well, just come to Taiwan, he said. You can find everything you can find in China, but everything is better. I remember the research I did before, the tea plantations, the temples, gorgeous mountains, the beaches, so I could see myself there. I felt it was the right thing to say goodbye to my students. I told them I have to move out. They asked me where I'm going. Soon after, they start shouting at me, "Taiwan is China! Taiwan is China!" 2 weeks later, I landed in Taoyuan. The friend who invited me and the only person I knew in Taiwan didn't show up at the airport. It was raining cats and dogs. Even though it was morning, it was pretty dark. That was my first time in Taiwan, and I had to go to Kaohsiung alone. But I felt good. I felt safe. I felt like I'm in a very friendly place since everything was bilingual and people could speak English. There were many differences. First of all, I noticed people don't smoke indoors. In China, that would be normal, even in elevators, taxis, cinemas. During my first weeks of stay, I met lots of foreigners living in Taiwan for a long time, and quite a large group of them would run their own businesses. I realized I found a place I was looking for because I could do it myself. I can become a photographer here. I went to print out my business cards. I used to bring my camera everywhere with me and tell everyone I'm a photographer. In the meantime, I was studying Mandarin. And then this girl, I remember the day exactly, it was on Christmas. She was my best Christmas gift I ever get. We had a nice talk. I really like her. We met a couple of times. However, soon she had to leave for New York. Luckily, not for so long, so we kept chatting online. She returned to Taiwan and we became a couple. And a few months ago, we celebrated 8 years together. We had a beautiful wedding in Taiwan. My family and friends came to do a round trip around the island. We all had great time and memories. In 2021, last year, my daughter Natalia was born. All the time I spent in Taiwan was full of adventures, excitement, trying new flavors and visiting new places. I had some problems to overcome as well, but who doesn't? When I got my first wedding case, I didn't have a car. So we woke up at 2 a.m., rode a scooter in the winter from Kaohsiung to Tainan. It was freezing cold, but we made it. For many years, my diet was mostly frozen dumplings from the supermarket and roads of fun. The luxury was steak with noodles for $80. My entertainment was riding a scooter to the mountains and sleeping in a tent. And if I have a job in Taipei, I would take an overnight bus to save money. But if you work hard, you have a goal in your life, you have your dreams, and you persist, you can achieve whatever you want. Now Taiwan is my home. Even though I wasn't born here, I'm very happy here. I have my family, my friends, and my work. It's all here, and I love it. Living in Taiwan is all about freedom and good taste. I don't know words I can use to express how thankful I am that I found a place where people are so kind and I could make my dream come true. I also realized that sometimes locals can really appreciate what they have. These are 2 reasons why I started my blog, to show my appreciation for the help I had received here and show the world that Taiwan is a wonderful country. Was coming to Taiwan a mistake? You know, the moment when I arrived first in Taiwan, I was 23 years old. I had lived in 6 countries before, and the list was growing. I planned to stay in Taiwan for a while and move somewhere else, but then I came here. I realized I found a perfect place for me. Hence, coming to Taiwan was a mistake, but probably the most beautiful mistake I have ever made.